Hello everyone and welcome to Geopolitical Trends, where truth matters. As a geopolitical analyst, I ask, is NATO still relevant in today's multipolar world? Some say yes, while others disagree. Whatever the case may be, the fact remains that since the end of the Cold War in 1991, NATO has been struggling to redefine its identity. Initially established for collective defense against the USSR, its objective now includes nation building, peacekeeping, and combating terrorism and organized crime. An odd evolution indeed. Recent events in Ukraine have prompted NATO to announce its largest military exercise since the Cold War, aptly named Steadfast Defender. This exercise involves the participation of 90,000 military personnel from all 31 member states and even non-state member Sweden. However, amidst these developments, many question the core purpose of NATO now that the Soviet Union no longer exists. So let's take a trip down memory lane and explore the history of NATO's formation in 1949, or was a response to the threat of communist expansion. The subsequent creation of the Warsaw Pact by the Soviet Union and its affiliated communist nations solidified the political division in Europe during the Cold War. NATO's history started in 1949. The prospect of further communist expansion prompted the United States and 11 other Western nations to form the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, known as NATO. The Soviet Union and its affiliated communist nations in Eastern Europe founded a rival alliance called the Warsaw Pact in 1955. The alignment of nearly every European nation into one of the two opposing camps formalized the political division of the European continent that had taken place since World War II, between 1939 and 1945. This alignment provided the framework for the military standoff that continued throughout the Cold War between 1945 and 1991. To justify its existence and remain relevant in today's changing world order, NATO seems intent on provoking Russia and engendering fears within Europe. Claims of a possible Russian invasion and aggression towards Poland are being made, which many find absurd coming from NATO's headquarters in Brussels. Let Europe use Ukraine outcome as an example. Furthermore, NATO has even deemed China a threat, leading to the conversation about opening an office in Tokyo, Japan, as NATO claims the purpose is to facilitate dialogue in the Asia-Pacific region. But is it true about that? From my perspective, Russian President Vladimir Putin's speech back in 2014 laid the groundwork for seeking new security and political arrangements with the West, allowing Russia to redefine its sphere of influence. The annexation of Crimea, justified by Putin, is seen as a response to perceived threats posed by Western encroachment on Russia's regional interests. Today, the US-Russian geopolitical rivalry is fueled by NATO's advancements right up to Russia's doorsteps. As NATO extended an invitation to Montenegro, a small country with limited contribution to overall defense capabilities, tensions between the East and the West escalated. It is no surprise that Russia views this as encirclement. As a result, the deployment of advanced missile systems in Syria was seen as a message to NATO. Retaliation is imminent. Contrary to some perspectives, I disagree with some think tanks in Washington, D.C., arguing that any new security structure in Europe requires Russia to help uphold and guarantee the security of Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, and other states in the region. How could that be, you may ask? Following the disintegration of the Soviet Union in 1991, former US Secretary of State James Baker spoke in the magnificent St. Catherine Hall at the Kremlin, saying, and I quote, that Western leaders contemplated no extension of NATO's jurisdiction for forces of NATO 1 inch to the east, end of quote. Interestingly, the now declassified negotiation documents show that for former Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev to agree to NATO's membership for a newly unified Germany, he made it quite clear that, and I quote, any extension of the zone of NATO is unacceptable. Here is my conclusion for you. NATO's relevance in today's multipolar world is questionable. As we move towards a new global order, this alliance may be viewed as a relic of the past. Join the discussion and share your thoughts on whether NATO remains an essential security alliance or an irrelevant relic. One thing is sure, in today's multipolar world, NATO is indeed a relic of the past and its existence is irrelevant. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. As always, remember, geopolitics impact your daily life in more ways than one. Thank you.